So access layer. Now this is my switch. All the end devices like wireless access point, my any video conference or IP phone, any of the end devices are connected through this access switch. So this is an access layer switch. This is an access layer switch. Okay, voice and video support, security services, resilience and security services. Okay, so what is access layer switch? Access layer. What do you mean by access layer? Just a second, guys. Yeah. So what is access layer? Access layer is also known as the network edge, you can say. The network edge of the network. Okay. You can say where end users are connected. End user, you can say devices are connected. Okay. The devices like you can say example PC, IP phones, access points, printers, IP cameras, etc. You can have multiple devices. Okay. Now, what is the use of this access layer? It provides us the provides provides high bandwidth, high bandwidth uh, access to both wired and wireless network. What it will do? The access layer will provide us the high bandwidth for both wired and wireless network. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So for that, what you can use? Uh, you can say first hop for quality of service. You can say QoS, first hop for quality of service trust points. This trust points you can use to get the higher bandwidth. Okay. Now what you can do on access layer? Access layers can be divided, or you can say can be logically segmented using VLANs. Okay, what we can do? We can logically segment an access layer using VLANs. Okay, so what is the use of we have seen what is the use of logically segmenting the network. Okay, now communications between the access blocks occurs through distribution blocks. Through distribution blocks. So access switches will not be connected to each other. Okay. access layer switches will not be connected to each other. All the communications between the access layer switches will be forwarded through the distribution layer switch. Okay, it means access layer switches connect northbound or southbound, northbound or north or south, you can say, to distribution layer. Okay, now this is something about the access layer switch. See, uh, let me check for an example. Okay, this is my access layer. See, wireless, these devices are connected over here, all the devices. Okay. See, this is the basic design of hierarchical model. Okay, this is a complex design, I can say. Let me check if I'm having any simple design. Yeah, so this is a simple design of a hierarchical model. Okay, this is a simple design of a hierarchical model. Okay, so what happens, see in this, all the devices are connected. These are my access layer switches. These are my access layer switches. All the devices are connected to, all the end devices are connected over here. Now you can see there are connections between the access layer switches and the distribution. These are my distribution layer switches. Okay, so there are connections between the access layer switches and the these switches. Access layer switch is connected with a distribution layer switch. Okay, to form redundancy. Each access layer switch is connected to each and every distribution layer switch for redundancy. Okay, see, they are not connected in south, east and west. They are connected in north direction. Okay, they are connected in north direction. See, with the distribution layer switch. Okay, now this is my distribution layer switch. Now what are the functions that we can perform at the access layer switch? Okay, access layer switches, we can create VLANs. Okay, we can assign IP addresses. All the things can be done on the access layer switch. Okay, understood access layer switch?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt?
No, sir.
Distribution layer switch. The distribution layer provides routing and packet manipulation, scalability. Okay, it provides us the scalability. You can add any of the, you can add multiple, you can say, you can scale your network, you can expand your network, you can add, just connect a cable to the distribution switch and you can add one more access layer switch. Okay, so this is something distribution layer. All the access layer switches are connected through to the distribution layer switch. Okay, now what is the function of a distribution layer switch? Distribution layer. Okay, distribution layer is also known as aggregation layer. Aggregation block, you can say. Aggregation block. Why it is known as aggregation block? Because it aggregates the access layer switch in building a campus or in building a campus network, you can say. Aggregates the access layer switches in building a campus network. Okay. Now, what is the use? Reduces the number of cable runs, you can say. It reduces the number of cables. It provides boundary between layer 2 and layer 3. It provides boundary between layer 2 and layer 3. Now, what all things we can do on this distribution layer? See, what I mean if I say it provides boundary between layer 2 and layer 3. What all functions can be done on layer 2? Layer 2 can done STP. Okay, spanning tree protocol. Okay, what all things can be done by the layer 3? Layer 3 can do routing. So it will distribute both the functions. Layer 2 functions will be there on the access layer and layer 3 functions will be there on the core layer. Okay, on the core layer. So it will differentiate both the, you can say, it will make boundaries. It will make boundaries. Understood? You're getting or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, you should use pairs of, or you can say distribution switches should be used in pairs for redundancy. Distribution switches should be used in pairs for redundancy. Okay. Now, what all things we can say for distribution switch? Okay, so this much we can see about the distribution switch. Distribution layer, you can say. See over here. This is a complex design. Over here, this is my core layer. This is my core layer. This is my distribution layer. This is my distribution layer. This is my access layer. Okay. This is my distribution layer. Okay. Understood? So what you can do, you can have multiple distribution, distribution layers as well as multiple, suppose your network is very
Access
large. You
layer.
have many large networks. So what you can do, you can distribute your network. You can have one core layer, okay, and what you can do, you can connect multiple distribution layers to this core layer. You can connect this multiple distribution layer to this core layers. Understood? Now these will act as the core layer. These will act as a core layer for two-tier architecture. And this is my three-tier architecture. This is what my three-tier architecture. First, second, and third. Understood? This each block, this is one building, suppose. This is my another building. I have 4 buildings. I have to interconnect these 4 buildings and form a single network. So what I can do, I have created 4 switches. I have created 4 switches, and all the distribution layer switches are connected to the core switch. All the distribution layer switches are connected to the core switches for redundancy. Understood? Any doubt? Hello.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Core layer. The core layer provides 24-hour connectivity, high speed forwarding between different distribution modules. You should implement as few policies as possible. Okay, so the core layer switches are the top layer switches. Okay, the core layer switches, you can say, provides high speed layer 3 connectivity between distribution blocks. Okay, you can say it provides high speed connectivity when you are connected to WAN network or internet, or you can say data center, network services layer. What you can say, you can use authentication and load balancing. Okay, understood? The core layer is the backbone of this hierarchical architecture. It is the backbone of the hierarchical architecture. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Now we have one more thing known as network topology architecture. So we have learned in the CCNA also some topology architectures. Now we will learn the topology architectures we have seen previously for flat networks. Now we will see for hierarchical networks. Now hierarchical networks are having three types, same as this thing, flat networks. The 2-tier, 3-tier, and the spine and leaf architecture. Okay, 2-tier, 3-tier, and spine leaf architecture. Understood? Now, why we will be needing this 2-tier, 3-tier, or spine leaf architecture? Okay, so see, multiple, you can say, to build an enterprise network. Okay, we have multiple options. We have multiple options to build. Yes, for scalability. Yes, correct, Dadi, for scalability. So we have multiple options to build an enterprise network. Design options, you can say. Enterprise network design options. So you can say multiple options are available. Okay, multiple options are available. You can say multiple options are available for building the campus, for building the campus network. For building a campus network, depending on the requirement, or you can say depending on the scale, how much is the use, how much you will be using the network. So either you can use the 2-tier architecture, okay, or you can use 3-tier architecture. Okay, you can use 2-tier architecture or 3-tier architecture. Understood? So now we will see about 2-tier architecture. What is 2-tier architecture? Please mute the video. Someone is, yeah, thank you very much. Now what is 2-tier architecture, where it is used? It is used in smaller networks. Smaller networks, we can say smaller networks may not require core layer switches. core layer switches for interconnectivity. So smaller networks, like if you are having a small network, we don't need a core layer switch for interconnectivity. So what we can use, we can use two-tier design. We can use two-tier design. It only have access and distribution layer. What it has? It only has access and distribution layer. Okay, and
Please
distribution
come
layer.
again. Please come.
Yeah, Daddy, you are asking something?
Yeah, I said you should come again on the two-tier network.
Okay. So see, two-tier network means you don't have access, you can say a core layer in it. Okay, you don't have a core layer in it. See, this is the basic example of a two-layer or two-tier architecture. See, the two-tier architecture. What we have only the access layer switches, and we have a collapse core. You can say a collapse core that includes, that will work as a core also and as a distribution also. It will work as a core also and distribution also. Understood? So we have a collapsed core. We are not having a three-tier architecture. We are having only two tiers. We are having access layer switch and we are having a collapsed core. Collapsed core in the sense you are having a distribution layer switch. Okay, this is a distribution layer switch, right? So distribution layer switch will function as core layer also and distribution layer also. It can be used when we have a small network only. Understood? Understood now?
Yes, sir.
Dade?
Yes.
Okay. So I was saying that
Yeah.
in this case, the distribution layer also acts as a core layer. It acts as a core layer. Okay. You can say connects southbound to access layer switches. Connects southbound to the access layer switches and connects northbound to WAN, server farm, internet, network services. Okay, see in this example. This is my collapse core. So in the south it is connected with the access layer switch. This is known as southbound. And in the northbound it is connected with via internet. Okay, via internet. Understood? Any
Yes.
doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so this is something a layer 2 tier, you can say two-tier architecture: access layer, collapsed core layer, you can say core and distribution layer. Okay, both are collapsed and formed one layer. Okay, now this is used when we are having a small network, but if we are having a huge network, a large network, then we will be needing a three-tier architecture. Okay, three-tier architecture. It will be consisting of access layer, okay, distribution layer and core layer. Understood? Now
Yes, sir.
we'll see some theory part of three-tier architect, three-tier also. Are there any connectivity issue?
No, I just want to connect with my system across this one.
Okay. Now, so you can say larger networks require a core layer for interconnectivity between distribution blocks. Larger networks require a core layer for interconnectivity between distribution blocks. Okay, so you can say it might be a function of cabling requirements between the buildings. Okay, or you can say it might be a function of northbound connectivity requirements. Example, you can say it might functions, the three tier might function for the core layer will connect to the WAN networks, okay, the internet, and the access layers will be connected with to the distribution layer, and the traffic will be uh, the core layer will be comprised of a pair, you can say, of high speed of switches running on layer 3 routing. Okay, so you can say uh, core layer switches will comprise of a pair of high speed switches, okay, running layer 3 routing. So what the core layer will be doing, they will be running layer 3 routing. Okay, now core layers switches will be connected to the pair of distribution switches using layer 3 protocol, you can say. So how the connectivity is made between the distribution layer and the core layer. Okay, example, you can say either I can use OSPF or I can use EIGRP, etc. Okay, so see, this is my three-tier architecture. Okay, so this is my three-tier architecture. My core layer is connected to the internet and it will perform all the routing protocols. So these are some 6500 switches. Okay, these are some 6500 switches. Okay, these are some 35 3500 switches. Okay, and these are some 2900 switches or 1900 switches. Okay, so these are some high level switches that are connected through to the internet, okay, or you can say to WAN network. Now they have redundant paths. Okay, suppose this link gets fail, okay, this direct links to the distribution get fail, it has another path, it has another link to the distribution layer switch, it has another link to the distribution layer switch, it can get connected to the distribution layer switch from here. Understood? Seamlessly they are connected with each other also, they are connected with each other also. Okay, they form a bundle, they form a bundle of ether channel, you can say link aggregation is done between them and they are connected with each other. So this we take multiple switches for redundancy. Okay, so if you want to build an enterprise network, you need to, if you want to build a small enterprise network, you can use two-tier architecture. If you want to build a large enterprise network, then you have to use the three-tier architecture. Understood? Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now the spine leaf architecture is the same that we have learned in CCNA. In this two-tier class architecture, every low tier switch, leaf layer, this is my leaf layer switch, is connected to each of the top tier switches, spine layer in full mesh. These are my spine layer switch. Okay, so see, every leaf switch is connected to every spine switch for redundancy in push full mesh. So this type of topology is used when you are building a data center. Okay, whenever you are building a data center, this type of topology is being used. This type of network hierarchy is being used. Okay, the leaf layer consists of access switches that connects to the devices such as servers. The spine layer is the backbone of the network. The spine layer is the backbone of the network. Cause of east-west traffic. Yes. Cause of east-west traffic, we need redundancy. Okay. So the spine layer switch is a backbone of the network and is responsible for interconnecting all the leaf switches. Every leaf switch connects to spine switch in a fabric. It is known as a fabric. Okay. See how the path is selected now. The path is randomly chosen so that the traffic load is evenly distributed among the top tier switches. If one of the top tier switch were fail, okay, it would only slightly degrade the performance throughout the data center. Understood? If suppose one of my top layer switch, the spine leaf fails, okay, this leaf fails, then it will slightly differ because my this access layer switch is connected to another spine layer switch. It can get connected to the another spine layer switch and it will not degrade the performance. Okay, if oversubscription of a link occurs, basically what is this spine leaf architecture? In spine leaf architecture, we have redundant paths. For redundancy, we use spine leaf architecture. Okay, for redundancy, we use spine leaf architecture. In this architecture, we are having spines as the backbone and leaf as our access layer switches. All the access layer switches are connected to each of the spines. Now, if we want to increase our network, what we can do, we can just add an access layer switch and we can connect to each spine. Also, we can uh, add a spine, a backbone leaf, a backbone switch also. Okay, just we have to connect the all the leaf to that spine switch. Understood? Any doubt till
Yes, sir.
here?
No, sir.
Hello.
No, sir. No.
No.
Okay. So we'll stop for here today. Okay, we'll meet tomorrow.